video clips you're about to see are from a couple of years ago. A little background here. I brought Robert Kreider from KX Exploration and Jesus Jr. out, essentially to do a meet and greet camp out for some of our DNA contributors with the University of New Mexico study that's underway with Dr. Christopher Dyer. Not totally unexpected, but at least on my part, I was not fully ready for the incidents of that evening, and it was a very enlightening evening, especially for some of our DNA contributors.
So we've been doing some reconnaissance in here for some of the hominids that we've had showing up, and I know at least we had one small juvenile show up the first night whose print we got the next day, the next morning. And so when we got back in last night from the Chusca Mountains and we got over here and started to do our little campsite and things, we started having action over here and a little bit of sound. Jesus and I came over to check it out, and actually I kind of got a little brave and went down this trail and all the way down to the big logs down below because my curiosity was getting me. And Jesus hung down here in case something came back up and around, we could kind of cut it off.
Bridge over here, so come this way. You see what I'm talking about. The trail to the right went down this way. So Robert went down there. We were talking about to those logs. I stayed on the corner here, and I heard some movement right here. So I know that they like to do certain things and like to mimic. So I got to making this noise going tap 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 3 times, and it would do it back to me. Bro, it sounded like it's doing it with his mouth. I'd do it again, tap, tap, tap. And then do it again, and it would adjust itself. I could hear it rustle a little bit. And that's when I started calling him, because after the second time it responded, I was like, I know what's doing that, you know? So I called him back over here, he came over here, and he's like, let's go check out that over there. I was like, oh. He's like, why? I was like, it's right there.
Yeah, he kept telling me, no, it's right there. It's right there,
man. And that's when he was like, all right, cool. And you see him take off and jump off the bridge.
I figured if he's in there, he's got to go out to the clearing on the road. We've been walking the road, and walking the road is scary because you're on the road and they're in the bushes. So I just said, heck with it, and said, right there? He said, yeah, right there. So I jumped down, cruise in, and I can't get through here standing up, and I had a beer. So it was easier just to lay down. So I lay down and belly crawled up into this. And
I was standing right here while he was doing this, trying to watch.
We didn't know if they were in here or not, but as it ends up, the whole, at least 4 individuals were just parked in this mess.
Yeah.
Just beyond what this thicket is here, just inside of that, 4 of them were just parked in here and weren't going anywhere. We didn't know, of course. I know the clicking, I believe Jesus, you know, and all that stuff, but I still got to see. And what happened was, as I ended up cruising through this stuff, I ended up flushing one. And it was like, it's one of the youngers. We had different sizes. We had like an adolescent medium size with a big one, probably the big male. And then we had like maybe a slower, more cumbersome female that's large with a junior that's maybe 4 foot tall. And when I busted through this stuff, I didn't realize, because I'm going through this thick, Jesus is looking, and, well, you tell him, I mean, I didn't even see it get up and go.
No. We heard it go. It started to make noise later, when it was farther away. And I said, okay, I'm going to go around. He said, because I'm going to meet you on right there and we'll meet up. So we came around, I came around this morning, and he's crawling through there. He's crawling through there, and yeah, it's traveling to the left, the big one and the mother, and I'm guessing that the baby. And I come to about right here, and I hear him say, "Do you see me?"
And at that point, I've made it through all this, and I've come around this corner, and I said, "Wow, I can see where they've been laying and watching us." And as he moved across, I moved to this position, and I asked him, "Can you see me?" I said, "Can you see me?" And his eyes were not too far from where the camera position is.
That where you're at, right there where you're standing.
Damn near where you're standing.
I saw the silhouette of a human. Now I thought it was a human. You know, head, arms, shoulders, all that stuff. And I said, yeah, you're right there. And he goes, no, do you see me? And I finally located him with sound. I looked to the right and I see him squatting there. I'm like, yes, I do.
And as I walk out,
that too, I go, then I go, it's right there, dude. It's
right
there.
And as I'm walking out, it's walking away from that position through that gap stuff that direction.
Yeah.
So then,
we go all the way over there.
So then we have a hold position, which this will be good too because I've got a game camera in place that he should have walked in front of or over last night. You can see where he went right through the grass, and he comes around and goes this way, and he hops over. And he was then, what he was later, we come to find out, he's the adolescent that was with the big male about an hour after this. So we had continued, and I don't know where I stopped here, right about here.
I'll tell you, I know exactly where. Right this way.
So, and now we're moving forward with no noise. We're not making any sound whatsoever as we progress in because I don't want them to key on us or react too hard to our presence. So as we move forward, I think you're here, Jesus, because I'm right by that log, and you were about 30 feet from me. I was right. I'll show you, because you had been right on the back side of this.
I started off here. I started right here, and then I started doing this. Remember I told you? I started doing that. Every time I would do that, it would come closer. And then I ended up right here, and you were already crawling in, and it stepped up to me. There's a footprint right there. You can see the footprint.
Right
here in the grass. Stepped up and you were over there always on the left side of that log.
Oh, okay, I see where it was.
Right here, if you look, right here you can see print. There's the heel, toe, there's a toe print right there. Yep. It was standing there, there's another one over here. And it kept coming right when it came up that close to me. That's when he got up and came behind me. Because that big one came up to you.
Well, before that, I had told you to hold, and then we had about almost probably 7 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah, that was me scooting over. So
I told you to hold about the position that he was at now.
Yeah.
And then so I gave him a hold command and belly crawled over to this position. And the big one was right there. So I started to move in, and I was still not making noise. And I can do this silently. And as soon as I hit the edge, I stopped. And his shoulders and all of him was right through this gap. And he can't stand all the way up. And what I saw, I just backed up and got down and held the camera. And he was raising up right there. And from my point of view, he was a good 3 or 4 feet higher than what I could see as a dark mass. And it lumbered and lumbered. And each step had to weigh 2,000 pounds. Every bit of it. It sounded way heavy for a cow even. But it was big, soft, bipedal steps, continuous. And he did not get in a hurry. He did not run. At that point, I didn't even know this other one was over here yet. And he moves across, and I just kept recording. And I started to go this way. I got up and started to move around to try to get a view. And immediately, right on the other side, before the white pole, there's a little tree that slanted. Right there, and up down, I hear an individual come just walk. It's lighter, it's not the big one, just walk out and walk around like it's flanking me. And I just immediately turned back, put my back to it, and then we backed out, completely backed out.
This is J.C. Johnson with a flashlight showing the angle where he was at during the night of the sighting.
When J.C. was shining the light, I shined the flashlight, the brighter one. I said it had to be hunkered down or laying, but its head was real big, and I seen the eyeballs. His head had to be at least this big, and the eyeballs were like that far apart. And they were big, like bluish green, and it shined, and it was moving back and forth. You can see it. It had to be laying down or kneeling real low. But I seen a massive head from that distance where that tree's at. We were standing on that little trail there. I heard the twigs breaking, and so we both looked this way. And it started getting louder, and so JC told me it's time to hit the lights. He shined his flashlight over in this direction. The flashlight I had was bright, and it lit up this whole area. And I just see that big black head and the two eyeballs looking at us. From about right here. It had to be like right here, moving back and forth like that.
Chip.
Did I get us?
As you can see, how over here it looks like it's pushed over. Right there. It's red. We saw, right here we saw the thermal, or the night vision. Jack's night vision, right here behind, there was two of them right here. One of the big ones was back here, and a smaller one was hiding behind the frisbee chain thing. It was crouched down behind the frisbee chain thing. We were looking, watching it. And then we looked away, when we came back, it wasn't there behind it. The black mass wasn't behind it anymore.
Bastards.
And then just,
There are ninjas down here.
More polished on top than on the side. That ain't cow. That's fucking hands. Don't touch it. But check this. This polishing goes all the way up to here. This polishing goes all the way up to here. It takes hair to get that polish and get that oil on there. And then I went, well, where would he put his hands? He put his hands, and I got tufts. Big tufts where he fucking put his hands. That don't look like cow hair. There's also all the way back under that part. There's one on the bottom over there. The whole, and I mean, and I get cows, yeah, polishing. But I don't see how they polish so high up and then bite.
Sometimes they'll rub too.
Oh yeah.
That orange coming, they'll start rubbing. Rubs.
That's true.
Here's the thing, with conjecture, when we got 70 head of cattle running around here, they're gonna get us. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But take some hairs.
Well, my deal is I'm looking at what's a cow hair and what's not a cow hair.
I don't see him going under there. I can see him doing a rub.
Me too.
I can see a rub, but I don't see him going under there.
What I was trying to do is figure out high here where they can't, like this. See this? It's a free hair, isn't it? Free. And it's all the way up in here. You know? Something big. Just really unusual. I never saw anything like it. That's one. Get some dog. Chestnut cut here.
Really? I'm doing the high hurdles.
Yeah, that's got the more fire in there. Potential, brother. Potential.
Is it here?
Lots.
Huh?
Lots of it. I don't know if it's cow or not. I don't think it is. Speed. So, after my little deal with Jesus over here, and we had that action, we waited about 30-40 minutes because we're really not trying to run these things around or push them or upset them or anything, especially since we know they got a little kid. We've heard the infant. First day we came in, we found some infant scat along with a toddler scat, and then we actually, that first night, we heard a baby crying and whining and giggling back off in here somewhere in the woods. So like I say, about 30 minutes goes by. We really don't want to upset them, so we gave as much time as we could. And Junebug here and I wanted to come in and see him. He wanted to experience this stuff too. There were some witnesses from another location. And so we moved in. Once we got past the camp and out of the leaf matter, we moved dead silent. We didn't make any noise. We made low and slow approach. And you can probably see up the road here a little bit. And we moved in a little bit farther than what Jesus and I did before stopping even the first time. And I think we can walk down there and I'll show you where we had the encounter.
What's up? You find something? You need someone to hold your hand.
We got toes.
Toes? Come on.
All right, we'll
We've
be
got
here in a
feet.
minute. Don't let them blow away. I'm gonna check this. Well, we figure we probably actually received the rock last night. It's pretty logical because we got scat down water from a small individual, and then we also had scat from an infant that wasn't being fed any solid food, just algae and probably nursing. And so picking that up, our first night camping here, we all heard the sound of an infant out here in the trees. And it was a whine and a little infant giggle. And it makes an awful lot of sense. We had what sounded like a cumbersome large one moving real slow, real methodic, not getting in a hurry. You had a real big one over here who was constantly tapping to distract us. We'll tell you the story. And when we received the rock, it was from a little one that was with that other one that was real calmly walking. And I got a real big feeling that the reason that every time we paid attention to that one would distract us. And then when we did go ahead and go, oh look, they chucked a rock at us. I think that was probably walking with that infant.
Wow.
I would almost bet.
Cool.
Because that type of activity, that type of interaction like that, we're trying to figure out why in the world. You know, for one, wasn't that one going anywhere and kept tapping shit? And then why did they throw a rock at us?
Yeah. Very cool. Thank you, Robert.